What's up, everybody? It's episode 3, spoiler review, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. It's me. Oh, if you're brand new to the channel and you're just scrolling around for some spoiler reviews and you found mine, thank you so much. Do me a favor and hit that button. Subscribe. We're going to try to get to 70,000 by the end of the year, and we're covering D23, leaving today. A lot of videos on that today and tomorrow, so stay tuned. All right, Game of Thrones is not this show. It's Lord of the Rings. However, I guess I can just kind of transition into that, as this is a spoiler-heavy review. I liked this episode. First episode I thought was dull. Second episode I liked, and I thought I was more invested in the characters. I was invested in a lot of the storylines. I like the fact that we see the Isildur heir, or him in general, and for most people who don't know who Isildur is, he's really the first, the leader that has an opportunity to take out Sauron and throw the rings off the side into Mordor, and he doesn't do it. And he's and Aragorn is a descendant of his. So we see him and we see his dad, we see his sister. And I like that. I thought that was a good way to bring that all together and show that they're the friends of the elves, because the elves are not liked. And poor Galadriel's going through some stuff, trying to get people on board. Even this particular sect of men, women, humans, who were given this island from the elves. And they're still like, yeah, we're good. You guys kind of don't like those elves anymore, so, and they're keeping an eye on her. They know they can use her politically, right? So like a lot of that stuff I dug, and excuse me. I'm curious though. What do you guys think about this? And maybe it's just me. The violence in this show, in this particular episode, seemed like they were trying to catch up to the Game of Thrones audience. That's why maybe I had a Freudian slip up top. Like when the king of the race of the bad men, you know, the ones who were fighting on the wrong side against the elves in the beginning, and it turns out, you know, kind of that Aragorn storyline of like he's given up his throne, he doesn't want to be part of it, and he beats the piss out of a bunch of these guys, and he breaks one of their arms. He's smashing heads and blood's going all over the place. Blood hits the camera at one point. When the wargs are going up and they're chewing on elves, you see their intestines and stuff, and never saw that in the other movies. And I wonder if that's to catch up to Game of Thrones, or there was always the plan. It was like, hey, we're going to go a little bit more raw on this series. Or maybe a mixture of both. Very curious to hear what you guys think about it. And speaking of Game of Thrones, our guy from Game of Thrones is the top elf, and he's getting captured by the orcs. And some of the orcs looked really good. Some of the orcs looked like they were costumes to me. Here's my issue with the show, because I think it's a fine show. My issue is, for $50 million an episode, I feel like this should be the best show on television right now. Like, every moment is just, like, riveting. And I think it's stunning. I think it's gorgeous. I think that there are some characters that I'm interested, but I'm just not, like, so just enamored by it. You know, like, oh, my God, I can't miss it. Like, that's how I feel about it. And I know everybody's comparing them. It's not a matter of comparing House of the Dragon. It's just a show that I'm, like, can't miss it. You know, there's tons of shows I was like, Sopranos, couldn't miss it. Breaking Bad, couldn't miss it. Lord of the Rings, I'm like, eh. And again, we're 3 episodes in, and as the adventure starts to take off more, I'm still invested. I'm just not in love, you know. And I loved the Lord of the Rings series, but I thought that this episode was good. It just, you know, like, I felt there was a couple of times though in this one particular scene, because I think the actress playing Galadriel is fantastic. And I like what they're doing with her character. But I feel sometimes like the episode was like an hour and 12 minutes or something, and it didn't need to be. Like they're trotting down a beach at one point, and there's this like goofy slow motion shot of her with this grin on her face, and it's like, what do you need that for? It's like, I get it. She's feeling the wind in her hair, and she's excited to be on a horse again. That's a great moment, but that goofy slow motion shot, and they did it like 5 different times throughout the series, these slow motion shots that were just unnecessary. Focus on the story. The story that's being told, though, I'm into it. You know, I like the idea that it's similar to the original Lord of the Rings series. It's almost like, feels like I can see where people are going to be like, oh, this is a Force Awakens type thing, where they're just kind of rehashing, because this isn't something Tolkien did. This is something that they made up for this particular thing. And it seems very similar to what Force Awakens did, right? Like the orcs were in hiding, and then they came back, and Sauron was on on the outs, but here he comes. Although you do see him at the end, and you never really saw Sauron because he wasn't in human form, and it seems like that's who it is at the very end when they come out, they're chanting his name to like get him. And I thought that scene, by the way, with all the orcs and fighting against the elves, and the elves fighting back, and them getting whacked left and right, it was pretty brutal. And I think that it had an impact, and that's why I'm saying, like, there's a lot of stuff inside of the episode that I thought worked really well. I just, as I'm watching, I'm like, why aren't I like just glued? Because it wasn't glued. And I wonder if you guys were. Might be a me problem, maybe not a you problem. So I want to hear in the comment section for sure. Because like I said, it's a very well-made show. They're putting their money to use, even though, like I said, I think a few of the orcs costumes weren't fantastic, but it's a minor gripe. But it's weird because I do like the story. I like the idea of Isildur, and I love that stuff about the sea, where like you trust the sea. The sea's not going to lie to you. Like whatever the sea gives you, you trust the sea. And whatever the particular line was, but I like that, and I like the idea of this island away from Middle Earth that these humans were living on, and they were just kind of disturbed, and they're kind of going to be forced into the fight. They were almost kind of served like as what Gondor did, I think, in the original movies, books. So there's a lot of familiar tones that we saw in this episode. And I think, you know what it was? I think my least favorite part, even though I didn't mind them in the second, was what are they called? The Harfoots in this one, the start of the Hobbits. I think that's when the show kind of started to go like, okay, let's wrap it up. We get it. There's either Saruman or someone from Saruman's lineage or Gandalf's lineage or something along those lines. We get it. This guy's got this bond with the Harfoot, and then they're doing this. Where is it? Left, right, over my head, backwards, around. And the guy's like, huh? Doesn't even realize that there's somebody behind him messing around. He's hammered. Okay. The Harfoot stuff was goofy. And so I think you know what it was? It went on a long time. It just went on. I felt like it went on for a long time. Like, we're going to be in the back. I hope we're not in the back. We're going to be in the back? Oh, our kid messed up. We're going to be in the back. Oh, we need help. Tall dude's going to help us. There's a long speech. Remember them. Remember him. Remember who. Remember they. Remember him. Remember those pigs from Game of Thrones. So I didn't like that. I think that's maybe what weighed it down for me, because the other stuff I really enjoyed. This particular episode, the Harfoots weren't doing for me. Again, could be a me thing. What say you guys? Interested to see where it goes. Interested to see how they play with Sauron. And is Sauron going to be... Sauron has an opportunity, obviously. We know what he's capable of. To be like his lead to that first war is intriguing. And the idea of how it all went down is intriguing. And I want to see how it plays and how powerful he is and all that stuff. And so I'm curious, because that's one of the things that it's a risk. Because if he doesn't play, look out. What are you guys thinking of the show? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Comment. Tell me exactly what it is. I want to know. Please let me know. And by the way, if you're brand new, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. If you want to check out some of the D23 stuff, the reveals they're going to do tomorrow in the big panel, you get animation today. So check it out. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. See you on the flip side. Peace.